Oh my God, what a horrible week it has been for Ian Garry. The dude has had the entire MMA community turn on him this week. And it wasn't, I mean, it was obviously a lot this week, but it doesn't seem like it's just been this week. It seems like for the last 6 months, right? Ian Garry could not talk to a camera without it pissing everybody off on the other side of it. There's what he said to Jamal Hill. The way that he made poor Neil Magny, like he tried to make him look like a child abuser. The way that he doesn't understand that being politely asked to leave the gym is exactly the same as being kicked out of the gym. It's been a horrible week for Ian Garry, and now I'm just seeing that Dylan Danister is posting something as well, like the king troll of our community is posting something as well. I can't wait to see how this plays out. And the thing is, it's only going to get worse for him now because he has to sit down in front of a crowded audience at the press conference of UFC 296. And I believe that Dana White is going to try and save him and ruin the fun for all of us watching it. That is what we are going to talk about today. Now, I just wanted to bring up some conversation around that topic, around Dana White spoiling the fun for everyone, because I don't see too many people in our community talking about that side of it. There's plenty of people shit talking Ian Garry. Everyone's free to do what they want to do. There's a lot of people on the I hate Ian Garry bandwagon right now, but no one is warning us about the damage control that the UFC marketing machine, and more specifically, Dana White is going to be doing at the press conference. Sorry, it's raining so much right now. I don't know how this is going to sound, but we're going to press ahead anyway, right? So all this drama, which is really just people giving Ian Garry like good life advice and him and his wife getting upset over it. Now, all this is going to culminate at the press conference of UFC 296. And why is that? That is because Ian Garry is going to be sitting across from Colby Covington. He will be there, and so will a crowd, and so will a microphone. And as Chael Sonnen so clearly pointed out, you can't give Colby Covington a microphone without him turning it into a pipe bomb. Chael is so worried for Ian Garry that he has literally suggested that Ian doesn't go to the press conference. And that is wise advice from Chael, because Colby Covington is going to unleash hell on Ian Garry. Look, if Ian Garry wins his fight against Vicente Luque and Colby Covington wins his fight against Leon Edwards, there is a clash there that might happen one day in the future. And that is all that Colby Covington needs, okay? Colby Covington is an expert at building pay-per-view storylines. I'm excited for this, okay? Because usually UFC press conferences are so mind-numbingly boring. They are sleep-inducing. How often is it that it's just Fighter X talking about how hard he trained and how much they're looking forward to Saturday night, or some reporter from whatever city they're in asking Dana White how good it is to be back in whatever city we're in this weekend and when are you planning to come back again? That's pretty much every single press conference. Honestly, most of the time the USC press conference is the most boring part of the pay-per-view weekend. I work in drywalling as a full-time job. I would rather sit there and stare at the blank wall dry than actually listen to a UFC press conference most of the time. All you hear is John Morgan ask another fighter how hard they train. And then the fighter says, oh man, we're really gonna put on a show for you on Saturday night. Like, bro, you can't even put on a show for us here at this press conference right now. Now, there was one pay-per-view a minute ago, not that long ago, but there was one pay-per-view that I was very excited to see the press conference of. That was UFC 287. Now, what caused so much excitement in that one was that Kevin Holland and George Masvidal were going at it. Apparently, they had an altercation backstage. They were beefing with each other days before, hours before the press conference had happened. I don't know if you guys remember this, but everyone was excited to see the fallout and what was going to happen, how much trash Kevin Holland was going to talk, and how much trash Masvidal was going to talk, and violence, all that kind of stuff. And then Dana White came out and ruined the entire press conference. And I'm worried that that's going to happen again. Dana White shot down every single question that the media asked Kevin Holland or Masvidal, and just said to focus on the fighters that were actually fighting each other. This time, purely because Dana White and the UFC have already expressed interest to us about how much of a star they believe Ian Garry is going to be and how they have big future plans for him. I don't think Ian Garry is going to become the next Conor McGregor. He is the ultimate heel at this point. I can't think of a character in our sport that more people have wanted to see beaten up so badly. I mean, people hate that kid. I think it's like literally everyone. Only Chris Curtis rose to his defense over the weekend, and the backlash on Chris Curtis was so bad that he had to delete his Twitter account. That's how toxic Ian Garry is now becoming. You can't even be nice to him on social media and have an account still. I'm serious, like, is there anyone in our sport that you can think of that has been hated by so many people across the board? No one is standing up for this kid. It kind of reminds me of the early days of Jake Paul's boxing career when everyone just wanted to see him get knocked out, although I think this actually might be worse. I don't know, let me know what you think about that one down in the comments. But essentially, that's the heart of this video. Dana White and the UFC have talked about how much they want to build and market this young Irish kid with great stand-up fighting. They want him to follow in the footsteps of Conor McGregor. They're desperately looking for the next Conor McGregor. They tried to fabricate it with Israel Adesanya. That crashed and burned. And they're hoping that Sean O'Malley is the next big thing. They've done everything they can to draw comparisons between Ian Garry and Conor McGregor. And now the masses are turning on Ian Garry, and I believe Dana White is going to handle this press conference the exact same way that he handled UFC 287, the exact same way that he ruined that press conference. Anytime the media ask one of the fighters a question about Ian Garry, Dana White's going to cut them off, tell them to just focus on the fighters that are actually fighting this weekend, which isn't even valid because Ian Garry might be fighting Colby Covington in the future. That is a storyline that can legitimately get built. That is what this sport is based on. So we've got to get ahead of this as a community. We need to make sure that Dana White doesn't step on Colby Covington's toes or anyone's toes at the press conference. We want to let the madness happen. That's what builds big pay-per-views. Vicente Luque isn't going to abuse Ian Garry. Leon Edwards isn't going to say too much to Ian Garry either. We have to allow that bubbling to happen between Colby Covington and Ian Garry for the sake of our entertainment and for the good of the pay-per-view buys. And if Dana White doesn't like that, he shouldn't have pushed Colby Covington into an undeserving title shot so much. This is the exact reason Dana White wanted Colby Covington on that stage, because it draws eyes like this right now. So Dana White, you're just gonna have to deal with it, all right? You made your bed, you can sit in it, you're done. Las Vegas, right? Las Vegas, and fans flying in from all over the world. If Dana White tries to pull that move again, boo him. Boo him relentlessly. Relentlessly boo him. Let the fighters talk and interact. We can't have him ruin another press conference. Get the word out there to the entire MMA community. Steal the concept of this video. Make your own video. Clip it. Send it to Chael. Send it to anyone going to that press conference. We have to get this message out there to boo Dana White if he tries to ruin another press conference. Anyway, that is all I wanted to say about that. If you're still here, still watching this video, that means you've been entertained in some way at least. So if you could do me a favor, go ahead before you click on that next video, quickly hit that subscribe button down there and just give yourselves a couple of days with the content popping up on your channel. If you don't like it in the future, you can always unsubscribe. That's totally fine. Just give it a go. Small creators like me really appreciate every single person that supports the channel in any small way that they can. Thanks so much for sticking around. I will see you all in the next video.